chairperson Jabu Mabuza testified at the state capture inquiry today. For more on this story, we cross to our reporter, Glorious Sefako-Musi, who's standing by for us. So, Glorious, I did hear that Mr. Mabuza was spending a lot of time talking about the state of Eskom when he took over as board chairman.
Yes, Nompu, good afternoon, and good afternoon to the viewers. Let's just start in the morning when Mr. Mabuza took the stand. Firstly, the advocate Malega started by handing over a folder of implicated parties to the Deputy Chief Justice Zondo with the names of people that would be implicated in Mr. Mabuza's statement. They include mostly some of the former executives from Eskom, some of them that are on the list, the former acting the chief financial officer, Anoj Singh. We had the former acting chief executive officer, Machela Koko, Susan Daniels is there. There's someone, Sean Maritz, some of them that have been sent notices informing them that they would be implicated and they can opt to come and also give evidence here at the commission. He also went into detail, detailing how he was appointed to the board of Eskom, taking the commission into details as to when he received calls from the then Minister of Public Enterprises, Lynn Brown, and then later from the then Deputy President of the country, who's now the President of the country, how he was offered that position. And then he also took the commission through details of how he went into details, giving information of what may come out as a sort of a conflict of interest. He said that he was a member of a company called Spheres that has also has a part to play in the maintenance of Eskom boilers. He mentioned that in a form that he had to fill to declare his interest. Also a family company, a company where his brother-in-law and his son are involved in the coal supply sector, where he said that as a result of those kind of interests, he does not take part in any of the coal procurement side of Eskom issues, and that he had put his interest in, he resigned from Spheres and then put his interest in a blind trust, that he's not actively involved in the company. He also went into details detailing the financial difficulties that he found at Eskom, together with the other board members that were appointed to the board, trying to clean up Eskom. He said that Eskom had about 350 in guarantees that it can use to get money from the markets that is guaranteed by the government, and out of that it had just not used about 115 billion of that. He said Eskom in the situation that it was in, it's a threat to the economy. We know that government has taken the steps now to bail out Eskom in terms of giving it about 23 billion rand per year just to get it out of those kind of problems. But Mr. Mabuza also talked about a report that was compiled by the National Treasury that had remedial action that was supposed to clean up Eskom. Apparently this report was handed over to the old board at Eskom, but when the board that is led by Mr. Mabuza came in, he said that the report has not been tabled at any of their meetings, but that report, some elements of it have been dealt with, and he said that there are some criminal charges that have been pursued, civil cases that have been pursued as a result of those, but said that the board would still pursue the remedial actions that were recommended in that report that was compiled by the National Treasury. He also mentioned there's a time after the new board was appointed where there was a threat from the JSE that they would delist Eskom bonds if it did not release its annual results, and at that time they had to go into the market to get financial assistance to keep the company going, and they needed about 20 billion rand that they did not have, but auditors would not sign on the financial statements because that would also show that the company was in serious trouble and it would not be able to get money from the markets in the state that it was in. Nompu?
Thanks very much for that comprehensive report, Glorious. My colleague Glorious Sefako-Musi just giving us an update on Jabu Mabuza's testimony at the state capture inquiry.